Trump's Nobel Peace Prize obsession. For Trump, the Nobel Peace Prize isn't something he wants because Obama got it. It is something he wants as a validation from the global community that he is not the person he actually is, a selfish, moronic egomaniac who has always failed up in life. To a certain extent, Nobel Prizes are as much about merit as they are about lobbying. It takes global sustained effort for the Nobel committees to hone in and select a particular candidate. This lobbying aspect of the prize has turned many off as it relates to the integrity of the prize. But nonetheless, Nobel Prizes are the highest form of validation in the human world. A validation that the awardee has accomplished something substantial, in the case of peace, in championing ideals of peace locally and or around the world. Whether it be standing up against terrorism for education of girls, or improving the lives of children in developing countries, or spreading the message of hope and democracy around the world. The Nobel Peace Prize recognizes extraordinary leadership that promotes the general message of peace, peaceful human progress. Getting this prize would mean Donald could tell himself that all he has done all his life is right, that he is the ideal example of a peaceful leader, that he is the ideal recipient of a prize that vests upon the awardee a presumption of goodness. This is something Donald covets more than most things, that he be seen as a good and beneficent ruler, when facts show the opposite. He wants the prize to shut his critics up about his domestic and international policies that have, continue to, and will keep detrimentally impacting Americans and the most vulnerable people in the world. That does not promote peace. A domestic police state is not peaceful. A high-tech surveillance state is not peaceful. Empowering a system that dehumanizes marginalized communities is not peaceful. Whether it be Donald's regime's attacks on trans people or his racist attacks on brown and black people based on their ethnicities, the ways Donald's regime enforces its policies are facially discriminatory and inhumane. They are not peaceful. Chasing down teenagers and veterans to harass and even disappear them is not peaceful. The deprivation of due process of law and basic living conditions when detained is not peaceful. Cutting food and medical aid for the starving and sick around the world does not promote peace. It creates suffering and causes strife. It creates anger and hatred. It breeds resentment. Extrajudicially killing people in international waters during peacetime is not peaceful. Dividing Americans, pitting us against each other while billionaires make it off like bandits with taxpayer money, is not a recipe for peace. It is a toxic process that continues to attack the foundations of the oldest standing democracy in the world. Defying court orders is not peaceful. It is definitionally lawless. Peaceful societies remain peaceful only when everybody follows the rule of law and everybody is subject to the rule of law. Donald Trump's regime acts like it exists above the rule of law. They think Donald Trump is the sovereign. That loyalty to person and not the Constitution is not peaceful. It is subversive. Claiming he has stopped 8, 9, or 10, it's hard to keep up how many he says that he's stopped on any given day, the wars is not true. It is in at least 3 of those conflicts, Donald's role has had little impact. India does not believe Donald played an important role in stopping their recent spat with Pakistan. Israel and Hamas keep killing people, and millions of innocent Palestinians continue to starve. And the war Donald said he'd stop on day one, Ukraine's invasion by Russia, still very much rages on. And instead of standing with Ukraine, the country that was invaded and its sovereignty attacked, Donald Trump's regime has warmly befriended Russia instead. That is not peaceful. Russia's inhuman terror campaign that is costing thousands of Ukrainian and Russian lives is not peaceful. And Donald's inability to stop Putin is a showing of how useless Donald Trump really is when it comes to bringing meaningful peace to the most war-ravaged areas of the world. Donald's claims of bringing peace between African and Asian countries contradicts his otherwise hateful rhetoric towards those countries. He doesn't want immigrants from these countries to enter America. His recent attacks on Somali Americans is the latest of many, many racial tirades by a man who wants to be the man of peace. His destruction of U.S. aid is also a big betrayal to a lot of African countries that are suffering from war, drought, and famine. Cutting off this necessary aid does not promote peace. It increases suffering, starvation, and death. And that's not a hyperbole. Many have already died because of Donald's foreign policies, and many more will die preventable deaths. That is not peaceful. Neither are Donald's trade actions. Tariffing countries and creating chaos in world markets raises costs for everybody. While that may be a minor issue for billionaires like Donald and his current best buddies, it is wreaking havoc on the lives of regular people. This does not make for a peaceful global atmosphere. It creates ill will, causes suffering to farmers, throws people into poverty, and forces many to seek food assistance despite working full-time jobs. That is not a peaceful and healthy social condition. All in all, Donald's actions are not peaceful. His intentions are not peaceful. His legacy is not peaceful. But he wants the Nobel Committee to validate his actions as peace so he can finally tell himself that he's a good person. Thing is, Donald Trump is a highly insecure man. He thinks he's great, but he is definitely not sure. He knows he has done countless morally questionable things, but does not believe he should take any responsibility for those actions. He's threatened by everything and everyone who criticizes him loudly enough for him to hear it. He needs this validation more than anything else, something he thinks may even get him in through those pearly gates. He can almost see himself walking in through those gates wearing his shining Nobel medal, or at least his FIFA one, because he's unlikely to ever get a Nobel Peace Prize unless he stops Russia, restores aid funding, stops his police state, ends his tariffs, and stops manufacturing wars in Latin America. Or unless enough influential people lobby and force the committee into giving Donald the prize. That didn't happen this year, and I hope it doesn't happen next year or any year after that. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.